5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello!
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Ioana.
Hi, Michael. How's it going?
Good. I'm so happy you're here. I've been looking forward to this episode for a while now.
Oh, me too. It's such a fun show, and anyway, looking forward to it. Less to the quiz part, but anyway, that's funny.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll do great on the quiz. Hi, everybody who's watching. I'm Michael. This is the start of season 2, actually, of my Messy Desk stream. And just before we start, I wanted to say to people watching that in light of recent events, Ioana and I have decided to just collect some, or we've decided to, instead of putting the normal donation links, put a donation link for a charity, Campaign Zero, which you can see in the description, which is working to end police violence in America through affecting policy and that kind of thing. So please give that a look. But yeah, I'm really excited to have Ioana here. It's going to be a lot of fun. And before we hear some of your playing, Ioana, do you want to just tell people a little bit about yourself, something to give them a general idea?
Yeah, sure. So, I was born in Romania, in Bucharest, and I first started actually playing piano when I was a kid, and then when I was around 11 or so, I started playing guitar. And at 12, more seriously, classical guitar, because first I started kind of with chords and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then at 16, I immigrated to Canada, and there I studied at the conservatory here in Montreal. And afterwards, I continued in Europe, and I stayed there for a long time. I was back in Germany, and so I studied there in Switzerland also. Mm-hmm. And now I'm back here in Montreal with my husband and my guide dog, and playing here and there, and teaching here and there, and doing what we guitarists do, I guess.
Yeah, you're also making some very cool videos and stuff, which we'll get to later. But I see you're very busy with lots of different projects, which is very cool.
Yeah, but it's we gotta be creative, I guess, especially in our times now.
Yeah, for sure. I think creative freelance life is the reality for many musicians. If anyone hears there's a problem with the audio levels, let me know. I can adjust. I'm using a new stand for my mic, so it's slightly further away, so I want to make sure that everything is clear. But we're going to listen to something you recorded yesterday, actually, because we were talking about doing a live recording or a live performance on the stream, but it's just really hard with Zoom with the quality, so you did a live take.
Alejandro
Vega says there's crazy echo. What is this crazy echo? Let me see if I can solve this. Is from me? Crazy echo from me. That's strange. There was a hidden microphone input on OBS, which I have now eliminated. Please let me know if that's gone away, Steve and Alejandro, because I just turned it down. There's a bit of a delay on this stream, so I'm going to assume it's gone away. But Ioana, why don't you tell us about the recording?
Yes, so this is for a while now. I've been really interested in Weiss compositions, and I transcribed a few of his sonatas. And in fact, I posted recently from a concert of mine the Courant and Bourrée. And I would have loved to post the Allemande, but there was a problem with the audio in that recording of the concert. And really, for me, the Allemande is the nicest piece in the whole suite. And I thought, I can't believe that I can't post the Allemande, which was the deciding piece that made me choose the sonata to transcribe. So I said, okay, at the first opportunity, I need to play this Allemande so that people can actually so. And I wanted to make it as close to a live performance on the stream as possible, so I just recorded it, like you were saying, yesterday, and it will only be heard on the episode. On the stream, so it's really just,
Nice. Well, a special feature then for people.
Yep.
Cool. And you have a whole Weiss project, which we'll talk about in a bit. But this is from Sonata
It's
number.
a Sonata 48, and
Okay.
it's really kind of, I don't know what he was on when he wrote this, because he sounds like he has such interesting harmonies, I find, and it's just when
Ah,
you think, come on, he can't be doing that. He can't be. Is he really gonna do that?
yeah.
I just thought it's a kind of a wacky
Cool.
piece, all things considered in Baroque times. I mean, what we consider wonky now is very different, but
Yes.
if you think in context,
Yeah,
so
there's
yeah,
some Scarlatti that's also like that. Some of those sonatas you hear and you're
true.
just like, what's happening? It's pretty crazy. Cool. Okay, well, let's listen to this recording you made then of the Elements from Sonata number 48. Beautiful.
Wow, what a funny thing. It feels like I'm performing and yet I'm not performing. What a weird.
Yes. Wonderful. That was great.
It's a cool piece. I really, I don't know. I mean, when I heard how he's just modulating and modulating and then the courant, I mean, we're not playing that one, but people are welcome to check it out in YouTube. Like all of a sudden you're in G major or so and C major, and then before you know it, you're in G minor or C minor. You're just going all over these strange modulations,
Crazy.
and then it's like, no, sorry, we're back in E minor. Don't worry, we're
Surprise. Yeah.
like,
Wonderful. People are loving it. Steve says, gorgeous Ioana. Adam Ciccoletti says, beautiful playing. Samuel Laroche Page says, I love your playing as always. So.
thank you.
Yeah. And people, if you have questions for Ioana, please write them in the chat. I will read them out for her. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so not going to check the chat. It's too much technology for me. So
too much, yes, indeed. And I mean, we have a somewhat of a rough template, but the show is supposed to be pretty off the rails, so people can ask whatever they want. Yeah. So you were mentioning your Vice project. What is this project? You were saying something, I think, about publishing some.
Yeah. Well, basically, I like Vice, and it took I kept, and people tend to play some pieces way more than others. And,
yes,
the Passacaglia, even one of the sonatas that I'm actually playing, but they played in funny transcription that sound very much guitar to me. And when I really started to listen to the lute more, and I thought, wow, that they really have a whole other level of beauty when you listen to them on the lute. But then, so I thought, okay, I really would like to transcribe them and play it, preferably something that hasn't been played much on guitar, if ever.
Yes.
But then the trouble in my case is double trouble, because I can't read the tablatures. I don't have any access to all the stuff. So if it hasn't been published, then how am I supposed? So I really learned everything by ear.
Wow. And what sort of, I'm really curious, what kind of recordings do you trust? You must have a deeper understanding of what recordings are out there and all that, because you have to
Well,
sort of
I did, you know what? I think Robert Bartow, you can't go wrong. I trust him. But then I really like Konrad Junghenner.
Okay.
He's the lute player from, I think he was teaching in Cologne at the time. I'm probably assume he's still there.
Yeah.
And then, I really just try to find anything on YouTube and see different versions if there's anything to be found on lute. And sometimes even if it's doesn't matter if it's well played, I just want to see if that chord had 3 or 4 notes. I just want to.
Right.
And ideally, I've done it already with one of the sonatas, not with this one yet. I talk to luthianists. There's a great lutenist, Sylvain Bergeron, here in Montreal, and I actually played for him mainly, I thought, just to check the score, but of course then we end up talking about different phrasings and stuff, so it ended up being a great class. But so yeah, it's a bit of a process, but I find I learned a lot just by listening to lute playing. And I think that, let's say, if I had the score just written in traditional notation, a lot would be lost if you don't realize the fingering that they're using. And so I was very inspired to hear, in the next piece that we might be playing, actually in the minuet, but for example, sometimes you could tell that he uses these great campanella scales that if you just saw the notes written as a scale, it would just be a scale, but the fingering, the way it sounds on the lute, it's very interesting. And then it's a whole discussion of how much do you want to imitate the lute, because it's not a lute, no matter how much we like the lute. And anyway, so it was interesting, and it was I enjoyed the project, and it's really cool. And now I have to figure out how to get it out, because let's say I could write it down in Braille, but then I have to figure out somehow how to get it into print. And anyway, it's the whole logistics. So in the meantime, I get a bit daunted, so I just prefer playing them and not worry. But
right, yeah. Well, maybe you take it step by step. This thing of like articulations is interesting, or not articulations, but fingerings. When I did my first masters with Daniel Bolshoi in Vancouver, I was playing Francesco da Milano Ricercars, these pieces,
Right.
and he was making me do everything with P and I, which was like a total revolution for me as a classical guitarist, because we do rarely we do PI scales, especially on the higher strings.
Yeah.
But it's quite effective,
Right.
actually. But the difference in sound is just completely, it's another world.
It is all this like light and heavy notes and the way it flows.
Yeah.
It really, in the slight inegal. Well, in this case, I didn't. I mean, it's Baroque note. It's a little different, I guess. But choosing where to put slurs or not, and
Yeah.
is it idiomatic or not, and all
Yeah.
those kind of things. Even choosing a key. Oh my God, I think I learned this until I decided on a key. I learned these things 3 times
Yeah.
until I would go up to a point and then, oh, this key doesn't work here, so
Yeah, it
start
doesn't-
over in
yeah.
another key. It's really
Yeah, the Scarlatti Sonata I did with Carlo last year at K77, we changed the key a couple times. So there's a few times where I brought it to
he's
him.
a master at that, isn't
Yeah.
he? I mean,
Well, actually, he didn't change it a few times. I changed it once, and then I brought it to him, and he read it from the piano score in a different key with a different tuning.
yeah,
And
Carlo.
it was just
Carlo.
go home and change it to this key with this tuning. I was like, okay, I believe you. Samuel Laroche-Page says lutenists are great at improvising too. Baroque, as classical guitarists, sometimes we need to embrace other instrumentalists playing to understand fully the potential of our instrument. Yeah, I would say so.
For sure.
But it is also a question, like you said, of not what, like, do you really want to do, just imitate. I mean, it's not really like, this is what I appreciate about a good transcription arrangement, is that sorry everybody, the meeting just cut out. Let me invite Ioana again. I think Zoom thought that there were multiple people in the meeting, so it had the time limit, which it shouldn't have. One moment. This is frustrating, but I will get her back soon. In the meantime, sorry it kicked you out anyway, even though we had only 2 people. Okay. Okay, everybody, while Ioana is rejoining the meeting, I will just share again that for those who just joined, that we have decided, instead of having the normal donation links to support the show and or the artists, Ioana and I agreed to put up a link for a charity that's working to end police violence in America due to recent events. So you can find in the description you can find that link. You can read what the organization's about and donate if you would like. Just in a sec, check if she has rejoined. Okay, she got the message. She'll be back in a second. Yeah, anyone know any good jokes in the chat? Or have any questions you want to ask Ioana, please write them out so that when she's back in a second, I can ask her the questions. A man walked into a bar. Ouch. Good one, Jessica. Thanks. Yeah. Should be joining in a second. I'm really excited about the rest of the pieces Ioana has lined up here for us to listen to. There's some more Weiss of her own transcriptions of the Weiss. There's Skyboat's song. There's some Rogondi, some Barrios. It's going to be really great. Oh, here we go. Hey, you're back. Hi. We are almost there.
Hello.
Hello, you're back.
Oh, we're back. Oh, wonderful.
Sorry. Oh, but you're sideways now. Sorry about that. I think.
Oh, I'm sideways.
Yeah, I think even though Mitchell left the meeting, Zoom still thought there were 3 people, so it had a time limit. Normally
well,
this doesn't happen.
the joys of technology.
Yeah, I thought that when he left with only 2 people in the meeting, there'd be no time limit, but they didn't
About that, so
calculate that. Sorry, everybody.
they didn't understand that we're trying to play by the rules. Sorry about that. Mitch, are we still sideways? Michael? Still sideways.
No, we're good.
Wonderful.
Perfect, we're good.
How about now?
Perfect.
Good?
Yes.
Good. Wonderful. Bingo.
Bingo.
Okay, back on track.
Yes, back on track.
Never boring, the shows I get.
Yeah, exactly. Never boring. We don't have the time limit anymore, so now we can talk as long as you want, and Zoom won't kick you out.
Cool.
Oh.
Cool.
You disappeared and Mitch's profile picture came back. Oh, there we go. We're good. We are good.
Okay. Good.
Okay, so you were talking about your Vice project, but I'm also curious to know.
Go ahead.
Just what your how it is for you, like teaching and stuff, because I'm curious, like how you work with students who are working from a score and all that. Like, do you study pieces ahead of time?
Well, I think it depends. It's trickier when, of course, when I give my students a score, then I obviously know it. But in masterclass situation, it can be tricky.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I tend to do is that if that assumes to me, then I'll work on how can we make it. So I'm kind of engaging student proactive on our type we have here. So I'm asking questions about thus making him or her discover this in a more proactive way. And of course, I'm there in class and I go, oh my God, I wish I could have the score because I would have more ideas. But I think I'm focusing on how can we make this make sense to me as a reasonably informed listener. So, and I could still talk about things like that. And like I said, making them quite proactive about clarifying the piece.
Yeah. Sorry, I think your bandwidth is low again.
Hello?
Maybe did you switch back to the other connection or something, because it's lagging a bit. We're getting cutting out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
is
okay.
It back on? Is it Mitch? Is it on the low internet? Can you just?
Sorry.
No, it's good. We're back. I guess. I don't know.
It says network bandwidth is low.
Mitch, I think that I just wanted to check with you that the network bandwidth is low, so it's almost like it's back on Notre Dame de Grâce or something weird. Mitch, could you check? Hello. Oh, we have to. Okay. Let's try. Hopefully it's better. Does it work?
It's still telling me the bandwidth is low, but I can hear you more or less. I'm so
sorry, guys.
It's okay.
This is like the show with tech problems.
No worries.
Okay, Mitch is on to the rescue. Yeah, go. It's attached to my phone. Yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, I don't know what more we can do. Sorry about that.
No worries. I'm still hearing the audio now. Yeah, so, but Samuel Laroche page
says, so we're equal. This is how I perceive the world.
Exactly.
It's like a blind video.
Yeah, that's true. No, I can't see you, indeed. Samuel Laroche page is saying she's really good with young students, too. Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that your ear is probably the most... The ear is one of the most useful tools we have, right, as a teacher. So I think even if you don't have the score, there's still a lot that you can discern and see. And I'm guessing that for you, there's probably more that you discern through your ear also than the average musician, since we're used to relying on our eyes, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I kind of freak out students when I say that they use the wrong fingering, and they're like,
yeah,
how did you know that?
Yeah.
And that you can really learn to figure out, because different strings sound differently. And sometimes we would watch concerts. Once we were at a concert of David Russell, and we were sitting quite far back, and my my friends were like, too bad we couldn't see his hands. And I was like, oh my God, did you hear that fingering he did in La Catedral? And they're, what finger? I couldn't see a thing. And I was like, oh, well, I'll show you.
Yeah.
So I think you can get used to getting quite a lot of information from listening.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Okay, I've got your video back and I've just fixed it a bit in the... Oh, there. Now we're back to the better connection. Good. Awesome.
Good.
Okay, we're back on track. Nice. Wonderful. Great. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing these Vice transcriptions when you have them done, as well as, are you going to do some kind of recording of them all, or are you just going to record them for YouTube as you've been doing?
Yeah, that's also the plan. I just need to decide.
Nice.
I need to decide where and how and logistics. But for now, so basically this, I recorded, I chose 3, and then I realized that they might not even fit on one CD because I seem to have chosen 3 long ones, especially 2 of them are quite long.
Yeah.
They're like over half an hour long.
Oh, okay. that's not the average guitar piece length.
No, it really feels like this one, just the Alemán is 8 minutes. And, by the time you play the whole suite, it's really half an hour. It feels like a long journey.
Yeah.
And the other one I chose, the 49, it's actually the only sonata that I think that he published when in his lifetime, because they asked him to submit something to be published, and he chose that one. Mm-hmm. And I think, the sarabande in that one is just such a beautiful sarabande. It's,
yeah.
It's. I've seen again some versions of it in A minor, but if you just play the sarabande, it's well and good to play it in A minor. But if you want to play the whole piece, then it doesn't work. So I do actually play it in F sharp minor, and it works reasonably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was editing the recording to put on the stream because we couldn't put the whole 20-minute thing on the stream. It would be a little too long between the discussions. But I was getting distracted listening to it because it's so beautiful.
It is a cool piece. And it's nice because it's a concert recording. It was just about the time when I have decided that I wanted to try to improvise more ornaments on the spot. And it's one of those things, when it works, it's amazing. And when it doesn't, you're kind of falling from high up.
Right, yeah.
But I thought it's a valiant thing to try, at least. It's an interesting experiment
for sure.
To at least pick and choose among some versions that you've tried out.
Definitely. Samuel's also saying, I remember playing for her and she gave me advice on my fingering. I was stunned. And he says, I remember Roberto Assel playing Vice. Really good transcription. I haven't heard of Roberto Assel play Vice.
True. I do know those. He played La Infiel. That's such a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
La Infidel or whatever. Yeah. And Bux de Jude. I didn't like the sound of that record. I don't know if sometimes I find unfortunate the sound quality in some of his recordings.
Yeah, you can hear sometimes a player who you really love, but then just the way that it's mixed is not your thing, and it's always interesting. Jaime Marquez Diaz Canedo says, hi to everyone from Mexico. Hello.
Oh, hola.
Hola. Okay, Ioana. Well, I think we're all looking forward to the Vice transcriptions when they eventually drop. You'll hopefully sell them through your website or something, I guess.
One day they'll be out.
Cool.
I'll figure out a way
to if
get them from Braille.
If these sonatas are all over 30 minutes, you can just do like 2 CDs instead of 1.
I know, but it's kind of too little, so that means I have to find another sonata. Yeah.
Okay. Then that's too much. Yeah.
I'm right in between.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. I think
you can just record a lot.
We'll see. I feel like I need a bit of a break from Vice learning, at least. I have other ideas now, but definitely 3 sonatas is good enough for now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna do the listening test now. You ready?
Okay.
So this is the repertoire guessing game, which I think
as ready as I'll be.
I think a lot of our viewers know this. I'm going to play 9 recordings, and you're going to guess the piece, the composer, and or the player. And there's 3 points per recording that you could get. And Yeah, and the audience, you guys can also try to guess along. And Ioana, you have a lifeline, as you probably heard on the other episode,
Right.
so you can ask for help for one piece.
Will do. And don't worry, I won't cheat by looking at the chat.
I appreciate your honesty and your integrity in this matter. Very helpful. Okay, we're gonna piece number 1. So beginner category. So these first 3 are the beginner category. So piece, composer, player.
There we go.
Oh wait, I think I have to share audio with you again because we started a new meeting.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
There we go. Oh, it is working. Okay, here we go. It just takes a while to start this recording.
Tango and Sky?
Ah, very good.
Probably.
Yes. It is Tango and Sky. Composer?
Roland Diaz.
Correct.
And who? But we have to hear more of the player.
Do you want a hint for the player?
Huh.
Usually I give it
No.
hints.
Yeah, give some kind of hint because
It's too
it
much.
sounds a little distorted in headphones.
Okay, sorry. Maybe it's also the bandwidth of the network with the Zoom. But
It's okay.
my hint is it is a great Greek guitarist.
Elena?
Yeah,
Papandreou?
Elena Papandreou. Very good.
Yay. Cool.
Nice. And Samuel says Roland himself. No, it was not Roland. It was Elena Papandreou.
Well, Greek did it. I you know what? I was thinking of her, and then I thought, maybe it's the Oscar Gilia connection that you kindly put in there. But because I know that she plays nice pianos, but anyway,
Yeah.
worked out.
Well, yeah, and I think in the beginner category you got to put players that are not too hard to guess. Kevin Lowe says hello from Singapore. Really inspirational chat so far. Yes, I agree, and I'm excited to have Kevin on later this month. It's going to be cool. I hope things are good in Singapore. Okay, number 2. Do you know?
Oh my God. Yeah. Who could, is this Russell playing?
Sorry?
No. Yes, no.
Who? What?
I was wondering if it's Russell playing.
Yes, it's Russell, correct.
David Russell playing by any chance?
Yes, David Russell, you got it.
Yeah. And it sounds like the Vice thingy.
It's Vice, yes. Which Vice?
The D major.
Yes, D major, you got that. What sort of what sort of movement or piece is it? I can play a bit more if you want.
Okay.
Any idea?
Well, sounds like an Allemande, but
it is an Allemande. Very good.
Nice.
You are.
But out of which suite?
You don't have to guess the suite.
Be able to
number.
tell you.
It's okay. I think if you can.
Oh, you're so kind.
No, but I mean, if you can guess that it's an Allemande, that's already like impressive. So, Okay, cool. Yeah, it's from suite number 14.
That kind of gently flowing thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's suite number 14, Vice Allemande, by David Russell, recorded by David Russell. Very good. It's kind of hard to mistake his tone, but even through Zoom, it's difficult. So.
Yeah, well, thank you. You're being quite generous with me because, like, Russell was one of my all-time heroes when I was a kid. I think so many.
Okay. Well, I didn't know
heroes,
this.
but,
I mean, I don't know who your heroes were. But I'm glad it worked out. Okay, next one. Yes, it is. Finestera. Sonata, correct. Do you know which movement? I mean, you already got the piece, but...
This is I always confuse it as the fourth or the second. Or definitely, anyway,
It's
I
the
don't remember.
it's,
Is it Marcin playing?
it's not Marcin. It's the third movement, the
No.
canto. I'll play a little bit later section.
Third. Okay.
This is a French player, if that helps.
I'm not. Let's see.
It's a French player, won the GFA not too long ago, but a while ago.
Ooh, okay.
Not him,
not
Samuel.
Judy Kyle, that's like a while ago.
Not Judy Kyle, no.
No. Thibaut.
No, not Thibaut.
Really?
One more guess, Ioana.
No, forget it. Nope,
It's
give up.
Samuel Laroche-Page is commenting like every GFA French winner, but he still hasn't got it. There's too many of them. It was Thomas Villito.
Yeah, I mean. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, a nice recording.
Nice
This was
player.
one of my first guitar CDs when I started playing classical guitar. I got this CD because Thomas' concert was one of the first concerts I ever went to. It really inspired me to actually take up classical guitar as an adult. Yes.
Wow.
But this CD
It
was
is so cool.
a big deal for me, so I'm it's nostalgic.
Nice.
I would say.
Okay, I'm gonna visit this one
Yes.
twice as carefully. By the way, thanks. I already I discovered some CDs because of your show, so it's pretty cool.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm discovering them too because I go on Spotify to make the list, and I'm like trying to find pieces that are right for the guest, and and then I end up going through all these catalogs of players that I know, but I didn't know they recorded all these different pieces. It's cool. Okay, intermediate. So in the beginner category, Ioana, you got 8 out of 9. Very good. Impressive. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next one.
Moving along.
You know?
Oh, beautiful. I just wish you didn't have to stop it.
Yes.
But I don't, not sure.
Okay, I'll play a bit later section.
Scott Martino. Yeah. No, I mean Baroque something obviously.
Yes.
But
French
who?
composer.
Oh, like Rameau.
Rameau. It is Rameau. Yes.
Yay.
But do you
Okay,
know the
well,
piece
thank
or
you
no?
for that.
Maybe not.
No, I don't think I do actually.
Okay. It's
Nope, sorry.
It's Suite in D major, Le Tendre Plainte.
In D major,
Yes.
but he's playing in.
The suite.
That doesn't sound.
The suite is in D major, but perhaps this movement is.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Le Tendre Plaintes. Yeah. And the player is also French, actually.
Sorry about the noises. The player is French.
Yes, also actually.
Also French. Did we name it in this panoply of French names and GFAs?
It is. He is also a GFA winner. It's true, actually, but a really recent one, much more recent.
Oh my! I'm a little less up to date. I'm ashamed to say with the
It's okay.
latest ones.
Competitions are not that important. That's one of the things I always
Yay.
say every stream.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, I think there is the informational quality of them.
Yes,
no, when you're in the flow.
Yeah, they're very useful. I just don't think they're super important, but they're very useful.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Oh, Samuel's got the player. Good job, Samuel.
Nope.
It's Rafael.
Good. Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have guessed, and I haven't listened enough to them.
Okay, he just put out the CD like I don't know 6 months or something. It's the GFA Winners CD.
Okay.
Or
very,
no.
very beautiful. Now I have to find them.
Yeah, it's a really nice CD. He has the Granados Valses Poeticos on it, some Rachmaninoff, some Scriabin. It's really nice.
Really? Wow.
Yes. But you get Rameau, so 1 out of 3 there. Not too bad.
Okay. Well, something.
Yes.
That's something.
Okay, next one.
Tarrega.
Tarrega, yes. And which piece? You know the piece, but maybe the title is hard.
No, it's not Jota or something.
It is the Gran Jota.
The Gran Jota?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Nice.
Well, I mean, Pepe Romero is famous with that, but
it's not him. This is a Cuban player, actually.
Sorry?
It's a Cuban
Did I
player.
lose you again?
Can you hear me?
No. But okay, cool.
Sorry, you cut out there.
Yeah, I could.
You're back now. Okay. Any idea on the player?
Yeah, here you know. Sorry. We're back. Player, let's hear a little more.
Okay, let's play a bit more. I'll play a later section where they're playing a bit faster.
Yeah, play later because this is all.
Yeah. Cuban player, fairly young.
Very nice.
Not super young, but fairly young.
Joaquin Clerc, no.
No,
Joaquin?
not Clerch, no.
Would it be Joaquin Clerc? No. That would be too nice.
Yes. I do
Marco? Tamayo?
No.
Yay.
Not Marco Tamayo.
No.
Flavio says, hate this piece with all my heart. Why do you hate this piece, Flavio? Did you play it? Flavio Bunny. It's
Rene Izquierdo? I'm going through all the Cuban guys.
Not Rene. It's Ali Arango.
Oh, you know what?
Sorry?
I don't know. I never heard him.
Oh,
I wouldn't have guessed it.
Oh, okay.
Nope. I admit. See, here we go. Another homework for me to do.
Yes, Ali Arango.
He's funny.
He's a good player. Okay, so 2 out of 3 for that one because you got the piece and the composer.
Yeah. Okay.
Last intermediate one.
Oh my God, I do know it.
You do know this piece. I think you probably recognize it at least.
I do, but I just don't know what it is right now. But I'm just gonna.
It's a living composer. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that sounds so familiar. Jesus.
You want to hear a later section?
Yeah, please.
Let's play some more.
Help me out here.
Any idea?
Oh my God, it sounds so familiar. I'm sure I heard it. Composer.
From the same region.
It's not Brouwer.
Yes,
it's not Brouwer.
It's Brouwer.
Brouwer?
Yes.
Brouwer. Okay, good. Just disregard not. That's why it's.
Yes, it's Brouwer. And do you know the piece?
So it counts at least as some kind of point because I mentioned the name.
Yes, exactly. Indeed. Do you want me to just tell you the piece, or you could use your lifeline, but you still have the advanced. category. So.
No. It's fine. Fine. No, I have no idea about the piece. It's okay.
It's the Suite Number 2 with a prelude.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Really nice.
It's so
suite.
tricky with Brouwer sometimes because he goes through all these phases. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Where he changes completely his whole outlook on composition.
Yeah.
And the player is a English player.
Ooh. Graham Devine?
Yes, Graham Devine.
No.
You got it.
Yay.
Very good.
Cool. Okay.
He has a lot of good Brouwer recordings. I'm going to give you 1.5 because you said it's not Brouwer, so you mentioned Brouwer's name.
Absolutely.
But you didn't quite guess Brouwer.
Fair enough. Even that you give me that 0.5, it's like you could like give a minus.
Well, I'm in a generous mood, Ioana. Okay, next one. This is advanced now.
Oh, Tedesco Capriccios or something.
It is Tedesco, but it's not a capriccio.
It's not Capriccios. It's what is it?
But very good with Tedesco. I would not be able to guess this piece. For sure.
Huh. It's Tedesco something. It's it doesn't sound like a tonadilla or something.
No, it's not a tonadilla.
No.
I don't even know what this title means, to be honest. I didn't look it up.
Okay, so I don't know it. I don't know the title, but I recognize at least the style.
Yeah, it's Aranci in Fiore.
Oh yes, I knew it. It's Orange Trees in Bloom.
Ah, okay, Orange Trees in Bloom. And who's the player?
Lorenzo Micheli?
Lorenzo Micheli, very good.
Yay.
Nice, 2 out of 3. Good job, you.
Yeah, we studied together in Basel.
Oh,
that was
cool.
some class Oscar Giglia had at that time. They were marching Lorenzo, and I was like, "Whoa, this is where have I landed?"
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was
It's amazing.
Something else.
Yeah. Now, next one.
Okay.
Any idea?
Oh my God, I know this piece also.
Oh, you do? I found this piece and I was like, I've never heard of this before. So
I've heard it for sure. I've heard it. I just am trying to it puts me in my olden days, but I have no yet memory to put Toroba.
Toroba, yes, very good. Wow.
Toroba.
I should have made this harder for
and you. Yay. Well, thanks for keeping a bit more traditional.
I figured I hadn't heard you play much contemporary music, so I thought maybe, keep it.
Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll discuss that because it's so funny. It's kind of choice by choice and not by choice, but it's okay. That's a whole other subject. Yeah. But yeah, so Toroba, what is it like? Chateau d'Espagne or some weird thing?
It's not the castles. It's not the Chateau d'Espagne. It's but it is from a set of pieces.
Yeah, some kind of group.
You just
have it's a piezas características?
No.
I'm just going through all the groups I can think of.
It's from Las Puertas de Madrid.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hadn't heard about these, so I guess there's a whole bunch of different ports in Madrid.
Cool. I don't. Man, yeah.
And the player is a Croatian player. Can you guess?
How many movers? So maybe we can. Croatian. Zoran? No.
Not Zoran.
Zoran?
No.
Goran.
Not Goran. Not Zoran. Not Goran. The name does not sound like either of those names.
Okay. Let me listen a bit. Come on.
Wait, I should make sure that this player is Croatian. Check.
Well, Dan.
Sorry?
Huh. I mean, it's unfair. I'm just going through Croatian players. That doesn't make much sense. But Dejan Ivanovic? No.
No, it's Ana Vidovic.
Oh, yes. Why do I always go for the guys?
I don't
Jesus,
know.
this is
You're, you're,
that's horrible.
you're
I should be more open-minded.
yes, you're conditioned,
There.
Ioana, I think.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Yes, it's from Ana Vidovic's
Yeah.
Toroba CD for Nexus, actually.
Ah, I see. I see.
Yeah. I was surprised that
Cool.
when I went through her catalog on Spotify today, I saw that there was actually a fair bit of contemporary music that she recorded back in the day. Not a lot, but like a few pieces, and I just thought like, I mean, I guess you can't assume that a player always plays what they play in their concerts, right? For recordings, it's different.
For sure, it's like they go sorts of stuff, like that Williams thing that I wouldn't have guessed, like that that contemporary music thing with Williams. Like sometimes they can surprise you. Older recordings, people
Right.
are in different.
Yeah, he was playing Dodgson, I think, or something.
Yeah.
For sure. Kevin Lowe says, how long ago was that class with Lorenzo and Oscar Gilia?
Oh, that dates me, hey. So I was studying with Oscar Gilia in 2002, 2000, around 2000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
around 2000. And there was this other guy, that was such a class. There was a guy that nobody will know because he was not interested in playing guitar because he was more in math and in conducting, and he was playing piano quite well. So guitar just happened to be something he did really well. Like Marcin was saying, that being second in a competition after him is an honor. And it's just so funny, like Emiliano Castiglione, nobody will know, I don't think, because he just, man, anyway.
Yeah.
He was that type of person that he was nervous for his concert because he couldn't decide which type of articulations to go for in 9/6 and problems. Yeah, good times, Lorenzo and Marcin, and yeah.
Yeah, that would have been fun. I mean, I being in Carlo's class now, there's obviously a lot of really good players, and it's a bigger class. And but yeah, it's interesting that the question of like who knows what players, it's not always directly correlating to who is quote unquote the best. I mean, of course, the best is also a construct that you have to, it's different according to who you talk to. But for example, like you know, many players who are really, really amazing, students especially, who are really, really incredible musicians at the level that, like, sort of master's level, many of the best ones don't share their own performances online or anything because they're too picky. Like you said, they don't know, they can't, they're feeling like there's, you know, care so much about every detail being right. And so sometimes you have this phenomenon, I think, where really amazing players aren't being heard, and some players who are maybe not as amazing but know how to promote their contents actually get heard, you know? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because also it depends on their inner values. You know, some people are contented making music in their little bubble, and some people really have a more outgoing personality, and you know, it takes all kinds.
For sure. And it's not that there's anything wrong with not putting out a lot of performances and promoting yourself a lot or anything like that. I mean,
no, it's just a pity for us that we don't see them.
We don't hear them. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, we're all paralyzed by our own self-critique, right, to some extent. So.
For sure. So does Carlo have masterclass style classes, or do you have one-on-one?
They're totally
because I know with Oscar Gilia it was a lot.
They're open.
Oh, that's nice.
Open door, yeah.
That's
so
kind of
we can sit in on each other's lessons, which is nice. Okay, Ioana, let's listen to some more Weiss. We're going to listen to the Saraband and the Presto from the Weiss that you recorded in your concert. So do you want to talk
about? So this is from a concert I did in here in Montreal, and it was cool. I was exactly when I was starting to improvise more ornaments and things.
Mm-hmm. Cool, nice. Well, the Saraband and the Presto are very cool and nice contrasting movements. So let's listen to some Weiss. We are back. Wonderful. That was amazing.
Cool.
Very nice. Everyone's loving it. Jaime Marquez Diaz Canedo says beautiful. Jacob Johnson that says the tone is really nice. Dragos Ilie is wondering what guitar is that?
Oh, it's a Bernd Holzgruber. He's a Austrian luthier, and I think his son is also doing guitars, and it's a cedar.
Cool.
From 2000 something.
Nice.
No, it was 2000, I think.
Yeah, it's funny. Ioana and I were discussing that off camera while the recording was going, and then Dragos asked this question. I was like, well, we have to discuss it on the stream. Oh, and also I forgot to mention...
you guys are...
Sorry?
Yeah. I was just saying, you guys are missing half the fun is our chat as the
Yes.
as the videos go.
Exactly. Discussing all the little things about the playing and everything. It's great. Jose Cueto says beautiful playing. Definitely. And I forgot to mention before, Pablo Villafuerte says Michael's shirt. Wow. So everyone's complimenting your playing and my shirt, Ioana. This is good.
Oh, well, cool.
I have several...
I have no comment about your shirt.
That's fair. That's fair. I think this shirt, one of my, either Jessica or one of my friends got it for me. I love floral shirts, so people keep getting me floral shirts, which, you know. So if anyone wants to give me a random gift, that's what to get. Nice. Well, Ioana, we were discussing off camera too that you have these different topics you're addressing on like a kind of YouTube series you're doing, right? On playing. What is this centered around exactly? I've seen a couple of videos, but I don't know what's the general concept of it.
Well, the general concept is kind of evolving as I'm doing it, honestly, but
Okay.
no. But I think the general idea is that I always like to start with what is the main goal, and that would be the, you know, of course, like the music. So rather than starting my warm-up routine, here's how you do trills, I'd like to talk about why we do what we kind of thing. And so then it all starts with listening, and then I'm building from listening to singing things and different ways to sharpen how you can listen. And then once you listen, then you have all these ideas, and then how do you do them? Like, how do you separate the voices because you want to hear them better? So it's all about listening. Like, and there are few teachers I find that really sit and work with you on how to listen. And so I think that would be my main thing, is listening. But from that, I'm developing next video I want to do is about color and how that can clarify the music. And
Cool.
And of course, I'm thinking at some point it will get into the nitty gritty of, you know, like how do you play cross string trills or whatever, or other things that are more concrete. But I suppose I'm a little bit of a philosopher at heart. So then I always kind of want to go for the big picture.
Yeah, and I think listening is such an underappreciated or under-examined topic in guitar playing, and something that so many guitarists could benefit from, because so many, especially students, but all and actually many professionals too, lack sometimes the listening. You know, I don't know. I think it's maybe a skill set that people don't pay attention to when they're busy thinking about technique or thinking about, you know.
Right, or even let's say if you understand the music and I go, oh, this is, I play this note louder, or this. I remember I had a class with a harp player who studied with, no, she didn't study. She was playing in the orchestra with Sergiu Celibidache, the Romanian conductor. And she was very strong in this kind of phenomenological, a mouthful of a word, way of playing. So like, why, like basically, how do we perceive music? What does the 3/4 mean? How does it feel to us? How does a certain interval feel to us? So by honing in on these things, and she would catch me, or any student, not weren't listening to what we were playing, but if we were listening too late, it's like, oh, well, you heard that note too late. And it sounds kind of weird to say, but I could really tell, like you could, there is something about focused attention to every note that you're playing. You're kind of willing them to happen before you play them, and then they come, but they come because your ear and your imagination is calling them, rather than you playing catch up. I had a great piano teacher who, one of his best lines was like, well, I don't care if you can play fast if your hand goes faster than your mind.
Right, yeah, so, that's good. That's really good.
I think he kind of calmed me down, because I was one of, you know, this little kids like, oh, look what I can do.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think too that if you, like you said, if you're thinking of the note and you're kind of thinking with your mind before the note happens, and having a really clear intention of what you want from the note and from the passage, in that way, it kind of improves your playing in the sense that everything feels like it has intention, even if you don't land every note perfectly. It still, you know, it still ends up sounding like it has intention and like it has a plan, like a musical plan, very clearly set out from the beginning, if you care that much about every single sound, you know. Oh, did I lose you, Ioana? It's a bit frozen. Oh no. Alrighty. I think she's having some connection issues. One moment. Sorry, everybody. Meeting link should still work. Sorry, everyone. I think her connection's having some problems. Hopefully, she'll be back in the call right away. Alrighty. Sorry, everybody. I am going to play another one of her recordings here while we wait for her, so that you guys still have something to listen to. So I'm going to put on her playing Skyboat's Song, which is a Celtic tune arranged by David Russell. So I hope you enjoy Ioana playing Skyboat's Song, and I will get her back on the call while we listen to this. Wonderful, and you're back on the call.
Yeah, this is a bit of a roller coaster, but Skyboat's Song to the rescue.
Yes, exactly.
This is it's really special for me because well, David Russell, he was probably the first guitarist I heard live that was, a really good guitarist. And so he was my teenage childhood hero kind of thing. And and when he recorded this, I remember I listened to a concert for the first time when he played these, and the concert itself was less good, and it was almost like I was thinking, come on, it's that moment when you discover that your parents aren't perfect. And it's like, oh, really? That can't be. But then he played all these Scottish things, and it was like, oh, no, he totally, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was, and so then so they always, they always kind of remind me of this concert.
This moment, yeah, beautiful. I love these arrangements. I have the book, and I use them with some of my students. I've played a few of them myself in concert, and they're just really good arrangements.
Very well done.
Yeah, and beautifully played by you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think before you dropped from the call, we were talking about listening and how important listening is, and I think part of listening, like you were saying, is that you kind of take care of every sound, right? Then, because you not only are you listening to the notes you've just played, but you're also thinking about how the next note is going to sound, right?
Right, and then the note comes, and slowly you always have this adjustment. This is what I wanted to hear, and this is what I heard, and yeah, your ear always needs to be a step ahead.
Yes, but I think the players who do that, I don't know if you heard me say this before you dropped from the call, but I think that the players who do that really well, it doesn't matter so much if the next note comes out perfectly or if there might be a buzz once in a while or a little mistake, because every note has that kind of intention, where the next.
Well, I like to think that in my case, because
me too. No, but I mean, for me, many of my favorite players are the ones who you can tell they've really crafted the sound of every single phrase, every single note, even if it's not executed 100% perfectly every time, right? So, at least for me, that's something I value as a listener.
That's cool. I really kind of, it's that thing, I mentioned it in my series too, but it's somehow always works. The more meaningful, deeply it is for you, then people will follow.
Yes, definitely.
Whether there are hurdles on the way or not and stuff, and they might not even know, like, who's to say that, wow, she made a great modulation and the way she accentuated the bass line, doesn't matter. But they know that you're really focused, and that somehow gets transferred.
Yeah.
It's like you could hear somebody talk in a language you don't know, and you can tell when they're into it or not, I think. I mean, unless it's some really strange language that you have no clue, but
computer code or something. Yeah, I think that's true. So, I usually ask the guests to give some kind of tip about technique or musical stuff, but just on this topic of listening, what tips do you have for people to develop their listening?
Well, I mean, I suppose the listening techniques that I was like really practicing the left hand when you're playing a piece, and playing the piece without actually making any sound and imagining it. That really kind of, it does two things. It helps you for memory, and it helps you for also just making sure that you really can hear, like, especially when it gets a more complicated piece. Then, like, like Turina, like, okay, it's easier in a piece that's like, like this you can imagine, but when you're playing, I don't know, Frank Martin jig, then it starts to get really interesting to hear every note.
So do you do
technique?
Do you do it with just right or left hand alone when you do that, or both?
Left hand mostly.
Okay.
So then I do right hand, but not for the whole piece, not consistently. I do it for tricky passages, and I have to say it's more for memory. But if I'm trying to imagine the piece, then I am playing the notes with the left hand.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like it focuses my awareness of what note will sound, what the next note will sound like. I don't know, a technique. There's so many little things. I think one of my general things is that regardless what exercise I play, I kind of like to off the rhythm a bit. Like, so I really like this like a warm-up kind of thing. I like to do this to get my fingers going, but I always like to mix up, so I will do 3 accents. Because too often we do da 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 da, and we put always accents on the same finger. So I would do tremolo in 3s, or yeah, sorry, that kind of thing. So I like to put rhythm in, or if I'm doing 3-finger combinations, then I will do them in 4. A M I A M I A M I M A. So always rotating things. And same, the opposing movement things that I really, but then again, like I really am very careful that the fingers that are anchored are not even moving the string. Like I'm actually checking the string that it doesn't move, because if I'm starting to press with them, that means they're not totally independent and relaxed.
Okay.
So I'm actually making it into a point of not moving, not just not playing them, but really the string. So when I'm going high up, sometimes you can really tell whether the fingers are stable, the 1 and 4. Yeah, that's some for the left hand. I find I generally have more trouble with the left hand than the right. So way more ideas about left hand exercises than right. I often, again, like when I do stretches and things like that, I combine it with listening. So if I'm doing this exercise, the kind of back and forth, and you go down but I combine it with listening to the note that changes. So I go. So it all of a sudden requires right hand control and awareness added into the mix.
As in bringing out the note that's changing more in the, like emphasizing it,
in the chord,
Yeah, there's a really great exercise that I got from a friend, which was apparently he heard it from Zoran Dukic, which is, I don't have my guitar right here right now, so I can't show it, but it's this kind of thing where you have to emphasize specific notes within chords, and something that a lot of players don't really focus on, and is super useful, important actually.
Yeah. That's actually one of my first I think my last episode that I published was about like chords and making things come out, and how do you within a chord or.
And for people who want to see the episodes, I put Ioana's YouTube link in the description of the video at the bottom, so go check that out. And also you have like a Buy Me a Coffee page, right, where you people can support you to make these technique and music episodes, because it's beneficial for everybody. So that's also there if people want to check it out. Cool.
And then, sorry, I just wanted to say one more for the right hand, because it's such a cool exercise. I don't know, I don't do it always, but it's immediately it wakes up the right hand. I think that people often forget that the sound doesn't come from the fingertip, but it comes like from the palm of the hand. So this one, weirdly, it's a very weird exercise. You'll see. So I'm playing like that. Can you see my right hand actually, guys?
Yeah, your ring fingers.
So, go, and then ring finger coming out. And now they're coming down one by one, and the other ones shouldn't move. It's a Roberto Osel thing. I didn't come up with it. And it really, because you're like this and you're trying to put your fingers down, by the time, first of all, it's finger independence and opposing movements. But then by the time they're all down, there is such a sense of, oh, thank God, I've ground the strings, that your whole hand is very, very awake, very aware from the palm down. So I find that if I do this exercise, and I do it sometimes with different combinations, like A, I, and then I go in that order down. So it immediately, my sound gains depth and sort of it's a quick wake up of the whole palm.
Huh.
And I can't even quite tell you how it works, but it really works.
Yeah.
But I think it's partly that. It has to do with this
There's this
coming down.
not the exact same, but there's an exercise I do that involves preparation and stuff and using the big joints of the right hand. But I think that's the most important thing when you start playing in the day, is to get a real sense of this. Is something Tim Beattie was talking about in his episode, to get a real sense of your contact with the string and the, like you said, the depth and the weight of each motion each time you attack. And that's really everything about where our tone comes from, where our speed comes from, how good our arpeggios will be that day. And the problem is also, something I've been thinking about lately is the fact that our nails change a little bit all the time, right? They're never 100% consistent. And so...
like I have no nail right now on my A finger.
Yeah, so it's really important when you start playing in the day to really establish that right hand as stably as possible, because you're going to have to, that day, play with those nails and that feeling that you have, So, yeah. I think those kind of...
it's a good, And of course, all the preparation things, I do the trills or anything I do, actually, I like any piece I practice, I prepare both hands. So I don't know. So I always prepare with both hands the upcoming note.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool, it's like you're practicing fast, slowly.
Yeah. Cool.
All those things. Okay, I think that we've done this little tour of technique.
Yes.
We could go on and on with that one, but
yeah, there's always more to talk about with technique. Do you find your approach to technique as a teacher or as a player is different because of being blind, or is it something that you think is pretty applicable anyways? It's the same principles, but you just see it in a different way.
I think it's kind of similar. Of course, I'm sometimes limited because I can't often judge the overall posture of a student. That's trickier to do for me.
You can hear the fingerings, but not the hand position.
Yeah, or the hand I could, because I actually work a lot by touch, of course, which I think is a great way to work for any teacher, to make the student aware of, are they stretching out their finger? So rather than just telling them, or look, I touch it. So then they have that awareness through touch. And I have more of an understanding of what they do. But it's harder, for example, do they hold the guitar wrong, or are they crouching, or the cup of the body position overall is trickier for me to judge. So that's why I think I need students that are self-motivated enough to say, look, here's how I hold the guitar, and make sure you're relaxed. I kind of give them checkpoints, but I can't always check them.
Right.
But otherwise, I think it's pretty much the same
principles,
idea. Actually, I think I work more by touch, touching both their hands, but I think that actually is not a bad way, because sometimes we look, and I wonder, not we, definitely you guys look, but I wonder if that's not a way to kind of look outside yourself rather than from within finding things.
Yeah, I think so.
I think in some way, I have no choice but to go from kind of thing.
Yeah, I think also maybe, I don't know for sure if this is true, but I wonder if being able to look visually sometimes allows us to be a little bit, I don't want to say lazy, but not aware of our movements, I would imagine for you that economy of motion is not such a hard thing, in the sense that you do everything by touch. So, I don't know. I would imagine.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know.
Well, I think because I don't have an endpoint of the motion, then I really need to be very aware of the whole movement so that it will bring me where it needs to be.
Exactly.
One of the horrible examples, nightmare of nightmares for me, is harmonics, of course, because then
right. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that.
When you do this, the tricky thing is because then you go, and then you don't know if it's to the right, left, sometimes I swear it feels like you're at the casino and I'm betting left.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, that just made me practice extra hard, like shifts,
Yeah.
whatever. But it's interesting. I think that people underestimate just how much their body memory works. Because I remember I was practicing, I was playing for Hubert Keppel, the Invocazione Danza, and he was like, "Oh my God, how do you do this?" And he closed his eyes, and I think without even trying, I think he got 80 something percent easily. And so he was a little surprised just how much the body actually knows
Yeah, we rely on our
at some
eyes when
point.
maybe we don't even have to sometimes. I mean, for certain things.
I mean, to be frank, I'd be happy to rely on something when I play these harmonics sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I can
I'd
imagine.
gladly when you're like
Yeah.
nervous on stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It just means you're extra brave for playing pieces with harmonics, I guess.
Well, it's worth the effort, especially for Rodrigo. I mean, come on, gotta feel it's
Yeah,
such a nice,
for sure.
it's a
Actually,
cool
that
thing.
brings back something you mentioned before. You don't play that much contemporary music, but you made some cryptic remark about how it's maybe.
Well, you know what? It's tricky because for me, repertoire discovery is limited. Let's face it, I can only play something that I have heard somebody play, and then it has to be something that was played well enough for me to think it's a good piece. It's not so easy. Like I could probably learn a piece, but there's a lot of work involved. I need to transcribe it in Braille if it's not available, which many of the newer things aren't.
Mhm.
And so then I transcribe it in Braille. I learn it by heart, and then just to find out whether I like it or not, it's just not practical.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Um, so so I think by nature of my situation, I am forced to go a little more traditional. Now it so happens that I think I'm a traditional kind of girl, but it kind of fits. It's not like I feel completely, but I'm sure, like for example, I would do more chamber music for sure if it wasn't a lot of. I mean, I would love to be able to just take some score and play through things and see what I like and
Right. Yeah.
just have fun with them. But it kind of needs to be planned out for me. So then I tend to go to the traditional things or, you know,
Yeah, I guess in that
um,
sense, doing like transcriptions like of the Vice is kind of ideal too because you can listen to other instruments and adapt things to the guitar very well with your ear.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, it's easier. Yeah, it is an interesting way. And sometimes I like to play by ear, but of course I want to have all the details that the composer wrote, so I don't
Yeah.
overdo that. I might learn Baroque things, but I think already in classic music or stuff, I want the notes so I know what they wrote.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. I mean, I'm doing the Grand Overture right now, and it's amazing. I was talking with I played through my exam earlier for Nathan Bredesen, my friend online, and
oh, nice.
he was saying like, oh, there's so many things you do in here that are so orchestral, but and of course Carlo talks about that stuff a lot with classical period like Giuliani, but
Yeah.
also a lot of it is just in the dynamics and articulation. It's just most guitarists don't
It's
play them.
written. It's all written. All
Yeah,
the pauses, all the things.
yeah, and there's like
Yeah.
at the end of the last page on the Grand Overture, there's this crazy subito forte, which nobody plays, but when you play it, it sounds amazing. Uh, and
Which one? I'm trying to think where we're talking.
uh, it's a big A major chord. Suddenly it goes to the A major, and these
Oh,
arpeggios. At the very end,
no.
where's my guitar? Oh, it's.
Oh, okay. No,
Anyways, the point
yeah.
is,
'Cause
it's
I
like
really like this piece. Yeah.
it's in the score, but people don't play it, and it's just funny
Ah,
sometimes how the stuff is right there and we just don't do it. So I can understand what you mean with that period onwards, wanting to read the score, to see these articulations and these dynamics. I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so in a way, I feel a little limited, but it kind of also gave me the focus of really playing over and over a piece and really getting as deep as I can get into it, uh, because there is a bit of inertia. It's like, oh my God, learning a new piece, writing it down, learning it by heart. So sometimes it kind of pushes me to just go back to another piece. I'm not bored of it, so it's just really an interesting. You make the best of the reality that you're dealing with, kind of.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean it's not really comparable in any sense, but you can always make the best of the reality in some sense because, well, I mean, for example, in my case, I started guitar so late at the age of 19, and then classical guitar when I was 20, and I see the silver lining of that is learning that late means that in an analytic way, teaching is kind of easier, especially with adults, because I know what it is to go through all those stages as an adult, So, I don't know. There are ways that you look at something and you can say, okay, well, this is something I can use as a positive way to move forward.
For sure. Or what you were saying also before, the fact that you had a whole chunk of life where you didn't identify as a guitar player, so you're less enmeshed with your ego in this kind of thing. Whereas if when you start as a kid, it can be like
everything to you,
a bit tricky.
Yeah, if I don't play one day, it's not like I feel like I've failed as a human being or something. So, yeah, which is bound to happen. We all don't play well from time to time. Yes. Okay, let's play the classical guitar Would You Rather. Ioana, you ready?
Sorry?
We're going to play classical guitar Would You Rather.
Oh, okay, cool. Yes.
Would you rather play only one composer for an entire year, or only one type of piece, such as a prelude or a sonata or something, or variations?
Oh, you know what? I think one type of piece, because you can have a sonata that's very different from Tedesco to something,
Scarlatti, yeah, true.
I think, or Scarlatti. Yeah. So that gives me quite a bit of leeway.
True.
And theme and variations, it's so much. I mean, Milan variations or Giuliani Handel variations there. Yeah. You gave me an easy choice there.
That is kind of easy, I guess, because you can come up with so many different kinds of programs from that.
Yeah, in fact, you can have a whole program, just the sonatas or whatever.
Or even just preludes, you could do it, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Okay, would you rather play a concert when you haven't slept for an entire day or haven't eaten for an entire day?
Slept. Clearly slept.
Okay.
Yeah, because I find that you're too tired to be nervous. I've played some of my better concerts when I was so tired that I realized I couldn't possibly expect anything big from the concert.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, and then weirdly, and that's when you realize just how much energy we lose by setting ourselves up with expectations. Because sometimes you practice a lot and you feel like, well, I'm so prepared that this has to go well. And then you're nervous because you've set yourself up, and then you might play less freely. But, I had some concerts where there was such an adventure just getting there. That was before the time of mobile phones, and somebody put me in the wrong train, and the person needed to meet me in the train, and I didn't know the address to the concert hall. And it's like, okay, just getting there was the big thing. So I was so relaxed on stage and tired, of course, and playing was the easiest part of it. So I find sometimes,
That's quite the silver lining to focus on there.
Okay, so basically no sleep anytime.
No sleep anytime. Okay, you should put that in your rider for concerts. It's like
yeah, I'll have them. Please don't make me sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Would you rather only be allowed to play music after or before 1900?
Before what? Sorry.
Would you rather only be allowed to play music after or before 1900? From after or before?
Sorry, I keep missing the last part. After or before what?
1900.
Oh, well, I think I would say before in my case.
Okay.
Although I find the other one interesting for the reasons I mentioned, I think it's easier for me.
Right, yeah. More options to play. Would you rather have your guitar go out of tune during a performance, like really out of tune? Or would you rather have a really big memory slip and need to restart an entire section of a piece?
Oh, no, I think out of tune.
Okay.
I think out of tune because then you can look very cool and try to like tuning and whereas if you really, and I did have some horrible once in a while when I had fever in a concert and they're no fun. No, out of tune.
Yeah, the tuning you can at least try to fix it.
Right. Well.
Would you rather have uneven tremolo or uneven scales in a concert?
So that's a hard one because I think I would like to have better scales. So I would say I think better. I would prefer scales actually than tremolo because scales you have them in so many different types of pieces, and tremolo is just one thing for the
Right.
tremolo.
Yeah, and
But
also,
if you got the scales down, then other things work better also.
it's true. And the tremolo, if it's uneven, people get sort of acclimatized to it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that being said, I like my tremolo and I enjoy playing tremolo pieces, but then, so I don't know what I would say if all of a sudden, bing, my wish came true and now I have scales and no tremolo. I wonder.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Would you rather have your footstool or your guitar support collapse or slip repeatedly during a concert, or play with super dead strings?
Ooh, that huh. I suppose super dead strings, because I mean the thing slipping, you get constantly with the dead strings. No, yeah, that's it. Dead strings.
Yeah, you
The
can
dead
still.
strings, you kind of surrender to the sound that you have, and
Yes.
sometimes like it's all about the intention. So I could still put in all my intention, and the sound come what may, kind of thing.
Yeah, and with the footstool slipping, it sort of derails you, I guess.
Oh, for sure. With the other one, it just sucks, but it's uh,
But
it's
you
what it
move on.
is. It's like also when you hear really bad recordings of like old beginning of 20th century people playing things, you can hardly understand. And still, if you listen long enough, you just get their intention. So it starts to not matter.
The sound, yeah.
Yeah, the sound as much.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's it. Definitely good footstool.
Good footstool and dead strings. You play with a footstool, right? All the time?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah.
Do you play with a support or with a footstool?
I
or
play
both
with
or
a support,
something?
but I'm 6'8", so I'm over 2 meters tall.
Oh,
So
yeah. Okay, that
I
does probably impact dynamic.
yeah, the footstool is not good. I had sciatic nerve problems 1 year during my undergrad from
Ouch.
using the footstool because of how tall I am, and my back is already screwed up from my height. So you know,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I
So
mean, it does make sense. Thinking in hindsight, it seems to be a much healthier posture.
I think
It's
so.
just that I'm used to the.
I think that some people's bodies, it doesn't make them have to fold as much or something. I don't know. It works for some
Mhm.
people, the footstool.
Right.
Not for me. Um, all right. Well, let's listen to some Regandi. You were talking about technique earlier, and this is an etude, right? But not often played etude.
Yeah, this is one of those lesser known ones, and I think it's a nice one. And I'm starting to learn the etudes, and I'll probably post a few soon. But it's a fun project. I mean, they are such great compositions. It's just sometimes I find that there's a very, he doesn't give you any bonus points. I mean, really, the music is great, but the effort to play it is also
Yeah.
not joking matter in
I,
some of those.
I recorded a friend of mine, I think I told you, Paul Sessoms. I recorded him playing two of them for
Right?
some YouTube videos where I edited them together, and they are hard, man. I looked at the score and I was like, oh, this doesn't look so bad, but then I looked at him playing it and I was like, well, wait a second,
Yeah. They sound so fluid. It's like, yeah, if you play them on piano, maybe.
Yeah, but they're
Uh,
pretty tricky actually.
yeah,
Beautiful though.
they are. But great harmonies in some of them, like, oh my God. And it's really, I think, some of the nice romantic music that we have.
Yeah,
Original.
the the harmonic structure is amazing in some of them, and
Yeah,
the melodic ideas, the long phrases. There's so many beautiful long phrases in these.
absolutely. Yeah. It's
So this is the
one
fourth.
of our cool original. Yeah, the fourth B or whatever it's called. Cause yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's listen to some Regandi. Bravo. Very nice.
Such a cool,
Yeah.
gentle and like playing along, but very much piano. I don't know. It makes me think of Mendelssohn.
Yeah, that's true. It's very flowing. Unfortunately for the left-handed on the guitar, that it doesn't feel like it's flowing, I'm sure, all the time.
No, not at all.
Yeah. That's
Sorry, I needed to do some technical juggling. Okay, good.
No
We're
worries.
on.
Very beautiful. Nice. And how many of these Rogondi etudes have you played?
Oh, I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 so far.
Cool.
Working on another one. Yeah. Yeah, 5. So I'm working kind of through them slowly in order. So I've played 1, 2, 3, 4. No, actually, no. What am I talking about? No, I did jump to the 7 because it's such a beautiful one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
That melody.
Yeah, but then, of course, you get into this B major part that it's not so easy. But yeah.
Yeah.
You pay for the music you want to play with them.
Yeah, exactly. We always pay somewhere. I played some of the Tedesco Caprichos these last couple of years, and I paid for every single one. Paid dearly. I love those pieces, but
that's worth it.
Yeah,
they're worth it.
Yeah, some pieces are worth it. The problem is when you pick a piece that you don't know that well, and then you end up paying a lot, and you didn't realize you'd pay so much, and you don't love it that much.
Yeah, it happened to me sometimes when I was doing competitions and things. And I remember I had to, when I was doing the Rodrigo competition, and he has these hard pieces. And for me, as far as I'm concerned, for no good reason, really.
Yeah, it's the phenomenon of like, it sounds like it fits on the guitar, but it really doesn't.
Yeah, and also I think he writes thinking of Pepe Romero, who has like the scales of, it's like, he can do them in his sleep. And I mean, I was playing, because one of the set pieces was Elogio de la Guitarra.
Oh, God. Yeah, I would never attempt that piece.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Because my headphones are slowly running out of battery. So I figured it out. So it's really fine. Apparently, he told Pepe Romero that he likes to think of when he will be gone, and in heaven he will look upon all the guitarists struggling to play his pieces and laugh. So it's like, wow, I hope he was having fun, because I sure was struggling.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Rodrigo just staring down and contemplating the torments of the guitarists that he created.
Yeah. I mean, Rodrigo is such a special case for me, because it's so cool to actually play. It's, in a way, he's like a model, because he's a great composer for guitar, that the fact that he happened to be blind, it's really just like a non-issue.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. His music.
And then also having the chance, I had a chance to actually look at some of the Braille scores. It's so cool. Like,
oh, cool.
For once, it's such an interesting perspective to see. I'm the only one, well, not the only one, but like I really have access to the manuscript in the real sense of the word.
Yeah, for sure.
Payback time.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard that one of the things that could happen with the machine he used to compose was that it could get the wrong octave sometimes. Is that true?
Yeah.
Because
exactly. Well, yeah.
There's a passage in Junto al Generalife which I play, and I think I played it for like 6 or 7 different master classes. And in the tremolo section, there's a bass line where if you move the octave of the bass notes just slightly, it ends up being consistent with the earlier part of the tremolo section. So the bass line suddenly makes sense. And like I played this for Marcin, I played this for Daniel Bolsche, I played this for a bunch of people, and nobody mentioned it. And then I played it for Carlo, and he was like, "Oh, you have to move the octaves here," and it just totally blew my mind, because it was like the piece made sense suddenly. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I actually talked with Carlo about that a lot, because for me it was obvious. Sometimes even in Vocación y Danza, sometimes I think like, oh really? This is just because in Braille music writing, when you forget to put a sign, the the octave is indicated by a sign that you put in front of the note.
Yeah.
So if you don't put it, then you assume that it could go the other way if the interval is anyway. So omitting one sign, you jump in a totally different octave.
Okay.
So for me, that was a typical Braille mistake.
So for you reading a Rodrigo score, you'd notice the mistake immediately, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, or actually, I didn't always have the Braille, but I was writing it down. Somebody would dictate to me the Rodrigo, and I was thinking, this octaves don't quite make sense. And right away, I had like, beep, beep, this is just Braille mess up.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, then the rest of us are just trying to play the octave, you know?
Well, I mean, sometimes who knows, but yeah. It's an interesting perspective that I would have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rodrigo's pieces are odd. There's some of them that are super ridiculously hard, and then others that are manageable.
Yeah, it's anyway, he still is a great composer to have, but yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, very distinctive. I love Rodrigo's music for sure. I mean, some of the pieces like the Elogio de la Guitarra and the in Tiempo Italica Famosa, this one?
Italica, yeah.
Yeah, these ones, some of them, for me, it's just too many scales.
Yeah.
But of course, it's really amazing when a player can pull it off, you know.
Right, exactly. So, you know, if it works, it's cool, but if not, yeah. Okay, sorry, we went really off track here, and I cut into your.
No, it's okay. This is good.
Either or. Go ahead.
Oh, we were done the Would You Rather. William Hill says, fascinating conversation. Thanks. Thank you for tuning in, William.
Oh, good.
And Eric Torjman says, great sharing. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, if people watching have questions for Ioana or for the stream, let us know. We'd love to answer them.
Sure.
Yeah, so what is your current concert program in total, Ioana? It's Vice and
I do play Vice sometimes. Rodrigo, I played the Tres Piezas recently, and
oh, cool.
Invocación de Danza. So those were like a bit of standard Rodrigo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Turina Sonata.
Nice.
I don't know. You know, but it was a lot of Vice. Sometimes I did it with Vice and Bach, like one, and I would alternate between one Vice suite, one Bach suite, and then another Vice. Not the long ones. I didn't play.
What Bach do you play?
Oh, Harrigan Allegro. I recorded on my CD the 99. I always have to think 997.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, and the E major.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what else? Yeah, I played the 996 also, but it's a hard one.
I want to play that one real bad, but it seems like a lot of work.
You know what? It's deceptively, like, other than the jig, which is, you know, clearly just, you know, technically difficult. The other ones I find stylistically kind of tricky. Like, you want to really get them right. They're not all hard, you know. And of course, you have the Bourrée, the Sarban, or the Allemand. They're not hard pieces, but to get them right, or quote unquote, you know, because it's so easy to go the Armand. You like, you know, it just doesn't sound. It's so like, how do you get into the rhythm of the Allemand and all that stuff? So it's deceptively. That's one of the. It's like people sometimes they do Prelude 3 by Villa-Lobos, and although it's, you know, they can do this, but why? When they, you know, they don't yet have the ability to play it expressively, play the notes. So I find that the 996 in some ways is a bit similar, and in some ways, of course, just plain hard. But
yeah. Makes sense. I know what you mean. I think there's a lot of pieces that are played widely, which, it's sort of like you say, a lot of people know how to play the right notes, but it's not necessarily, you don't hear them played well very often. This is something that Judah Kyle was talking about in an interview I listened to, where he said, you know, it's hard to play easier pieces because actually there's a lot of examples of people playing them not super great, and then make them transcend them help them transcend to the next level. That's a challenge, you know, but also a worthwhile thing. It's not like overplayed pieces can't be heard in a fresh way, you know.
It's true. It's true. But often you can't hear them again. Like, not again, la, 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 it's like, but although it's a great piece, you know.
Yeah.
So I think once somebody was really asked me to play it, and I had this like, oh, not again. But then I actually played it, and I was like, wow, you know, this is really a fun piece.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can surprise you. Nice. Well, let's play our lightning round, and then we'll wrap up with some barrios. How do you think? What do you think?
Okay.
About it, Ioana?
And I'll promise I'll make it lightning, because I have the tendency to just.
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, you're well.
This.
Yeah, as a philosopher, I guess it's hard to, you know, it's hard to like give a snap answer.
Well,
okay.
I'll do my best. There we go.
Okay, lightning round. Cats or dogs?
Absolutely dogs. I mean, you show me a guide cat, and I might, I might reconsider.
That's fair. Yeah, cats are not going to be very useful for that. I think our cats generally don't care too much.
They'll just guide you to their food bowl.
I was going to say the only thing the cats care about is that I go in the direction of the cat food. Okay, Bogdanovich or Brouwer?
I would say Brouwer, just because I know more of it, but I really like the Bogdanovich I know. So
okay.
I say Brouwer just for knowing it.
Toronto or Montreal?
Ooh, well, I would say Montreal, clearly, because I like where I'm living, and
okay.
Yeah.
Scarlatti or Bach? Or Weiss?
I would say still Papa Bach. Yep.
Okay, yeah, Bach. Vanilla or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Chocolate, nice.
Absolutely.
You and Jessica would get along. Solo or chamber?
Ooh, I would say chamber, but
okay.
It's funny because I hardly do it, but I wish I would do more. So yeah, chamber.
What kind of chamber stuff have you done, incidentally, by the way?
Well, I mean, I played, you know, like flute and guitar stuff, you know, like the more standard things, the Giuliani Sonata and the, what's his name? Jesus.
Piazzolla.
Some Spanish stuff. And yeah, Piazzolla a bit. Oh my God. Anyway, I have a memory blank. So that, and I played with guitar, but that's not really chamber music. It's like just more of the guitar stuff.
More of the guitar. Yeah. Too much guitar.
But still, it's fun. And I've played, which is really cool. Like my sister